Every nigga is a star. Who will remind that you and I are every nigga is a star. Every nigga's a star. Every nigga's a star. Every nigga's a star. Every nigga's a star.
Something miraculous happened a few days ago. Did COVID end? Did the entire country come to an agreement that to overthrow the government and start the revolution? Did Rihanna's album finally drop? Did Twitter add the edit button? No. Not even fucking close. But one of my prayers was answered. Glitter, the long-lost Mariah Carey album, soundtrack to the movie, was finally released on Tidal. I have been waiting, and now it is my time to shine, baby. Mariah Carey means a great deal to me for a number of reasons. She's absolutely one of my vocal and songwriting influences. She's wildly funny and shady. But more than anything else, I have the honor of having the same anniversary as Queen Mariah, which, of course, is March 27th. I have every album. I played Rainbow until my parents and sister threatened to starve me. I can't get enough. So you can imagine my surprise when there was an entire movie about Mariah Carey coming out just for me. If I'm not mistaken, it's like loosely based on her actual life, but I didn't care. On a later date on this show, we will absolutely have a Mariah Carey episode because she deserves. We can't even get into it right now. But imagine my real surprise when the world hated it. They hated the soundtrack, which she did. She wrote. A lot of the songs are obviously sampled tracks from others, but if we're talking about the lyrics, those are Mariah Carey. They trashed the movie. They made fun of her. I made fun of everything about it. And I was devastated, hurt, confused even. I've seen some trash movies now. The Sound of Music. We'll talk about it later. Jason's Lyric. And my most recent awful movie, Above the Rim. And I said we will talk about it later. But Glitter really wasn't as trash as y'all made it seem. The story was complete. There's lots of cute, funny lines. And Mariah isn't an awful actress. Could she have been better? Of course. But your Stripping Grits could be a lot better too. When this movie was shunned, it left me sad and bitter. Nobody asked me, but y'all are wrong about Glitter.
Let's give them something to talk about. How about love? Love is good. I can't dig it.
Okay, so here are the reasons why Glitter is good. First of all, I love a campy movie. Lots of lines, lots of, it's a period piece. Oh, that's another great thing that's about it. It takes place in the 80s. And I love the 80s. The 80s is filled with glitter, no pun, color, big hair, pleather, leather, the songs, Prince. It's where a lot of our great R&B influences come from. The 80s was a great time. Sure, there was lots of scary things happening in the government and with crack cocaine. However, it was still magical. There were so many songs, so many trends, so many fashion choices. The 80s is so much fun. You can't get away from it. And Mariah Carey, she was talking about how this is how she was coming up and becoming the national superstar. And so it opens up with a young Billy Frank seeing her mother, a lounge singer, sing at the club. And there's young Billy sitting at the bar watching her mom as she's performing. And her mom tells her to get on stage, and when someone hands you a mic, you better sing. I'm pretty sure they sped up Mariah Carey's voice and gave it to that little girl to lip sync, but that's, neither here nor there. And I want to be clear, right? Is this an Oscar movie? Is this a blockbuster hit? Not necessarily, but it's not as awful. I mean, I have seen people riot and scream, "Shaun the Non-Believer! Greatest trash!" And I just feel like it didn't need all that. There's worse movies. We've seen worse movies. We know worse movies. And just Glitter was one of them. Okay, I'm digressing. It's set in the 80s. We see Billy Frank. She gets on stage with her mom. And her mom is played by the mom from one of the moms of Half and Half, the tall one, the tall, rich, bougie one who I absolutely love, Valerie Pitford, I believe her name is. She is a stunning singer, dancer, and actress. Was all over Broadway, all over TV. She's one of my favorite character actresses. Love her. She plays her, and she's a black woman. And at the end of this set, she takes her child, Billy, to her father's house and literally says on his doorstep, he's like, "Hey, I told you to never come here again." And she's like, "I need money. I can barely..." The line is hilarious because they're like, "I need money. I can barely take care of it." Your child? Your daughter? Her probably would have been more. I can barely take care of it. You got to help me. It's like a chia pet. I can barely take care of it. Can you imagine someone being called child services on them because they couldn't take care of their cheetah pet? So he tries to give her like a couple $100 and is like, "Get out of here. Go live your life. You got your whole life ahead of you." So they go back to the mom's house and they do the scene about how the mom's a drunk and she's always, smoking or whatever. And so she falls asleep, cigarette in hand, burns the house down. And because of that, now Billy has to go into foster care. And she meets her two friends, which later become DeBrat and a Roxy lookalike, Roxy from 106 and Park, which is interesting because her name is Roxanne in the show. I don't think that's a coincidence. And so they become friends, and now, as their jobs, they are go-go dancers at the club. So they get to go. You've seen the movie. No, or maybe you haven't. And that's why I'm here. So Mariah Carey is doing her best go-go dancing, which is a joy because as much as I love Mariah Carey, she is not known for her dancing. She's known for her singing. So the fact that they made sure they gave her a few, just get on stage and dance. That's literally what she did. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Long story short, she essentially finds this DJ boyfriend, and he's like kind of this bad boy. Of course, I'm really trying not to make this show about this today. However, DJ is a white boy. It's a white boy who I believe is European of some kind. He's at least British. And he is playing this like New York DJ that plays everything. He's like this musical genius. And they're trying to tell me that he's the one that produced Didn't Mean to Turn You On. And that, he's, Quincy's his favorite. And, "Oh, you're not playing it the right way, drummer man. Let me show you." All that vibrato that I don't need. But alas, that's her boyfriend, and she falls in love, and he introduces her to all of the record label executives, and is so excited for making sure she gets the best in everything. And so it's exciting. Yeah, that's right. His name is Maxton Gig Beasley Jr., and he is indeed English from Burnage, Manchester, United Kingdom, and they had him playing like this Staten Island. Well, that's a reach. He might have been Staten Island raised, but was now living in Manhattan or something to the effect. But they try to just give him this like too cool for school kind of imagery with a cut off tank top and leather pants At one point, he had on like a velvet top with nothing underneath. It was pretty erotic. Anyway, it's set in the 80s. That's the story. He goes through this whole story. They go through this whole big thing. He's actually wildly toxic, like very jealous of her career, nasty to her friends. He called Roxy a roach bag. Let me tell you something. A man ever fixes his mouth to call me a roach bag, we're fighting. That's disgusting. Don't compare me to nobody's roach ever for no reason. And especially you a white man, you calling a Latina or a black woman a roach bag? Oh, no. We're fighting. We're fighting immediately. And you will deal. Also, Terrence Howard is in this movie, which there's not a lot of movies in the 2000s that Terrence Howard isn't in. And I'll leave that right there. He also plays the villain. No surprise there. But again, I'll leave that where that's at. But we also get an incredible appearance, from Top Chef's own tall, statuesque, kind of whiny model, Padma. Padma is in here playing the muse, right? The pretty girl who is just so pretty that everyone just cannot get over how pretty she is. And for whatever reason, because she's so pretty, it's like, hey, let's make you a singer. Of course, she gets in there and the bitch is tone deaf. My 7-year-olds can sing better than her. They gave her a fly ass outfit though. That onesie, super cute. And of course, it's Mariah Carey whose voice is going to carry it over. And they're like, yo, turn Padma's vocals all the way down because no one wants to hear that shit. However, turn Mariah Carey's vocals up. Padma tries it. Padma, of course, they record it like that. Padma's going around lip syncing it. You know, everyone's like, oh my God, this is such a great song. Oh, Padma's name in the show is Silk. Are we kidding? Silk? Let me go deep, 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 deep. That's who Silk is. But is it an appropriate name for Padma? Yes, because they had her hair long and silky, and she's a tall, long, silky thing. I get it. I totally understand it, except her singing voice is more like brick as opposed to silk, rough and tone deaf. Alas, Mariah Carey becomes a star. Her boyfriend's nasty, and they get to a place where they are missing each other so much that they somehow, some kind of way, write the exact same song. So Mariah Carey goes over to his house when he's not there because she still has the key because she used to live there, sees that they wrote the same song. She's touched. She leaves this very, very sweet kiss on his music with a B around the heart because her character's name is Billy, and I love you, and I love that you made this. It's wonderful. And he writes her a card, and he's on his way to go see her. And I guess they're going with the intention of making up. And it's a very important night. And she's supposed, I think it's the AMAs that they're choreographing and rehearsing for. And she storms out of rehearsal because I just miss my man so much. All for her boyfriend to get shot immediately before she gets on, and she finds out as she's walking in getting ready for her major AMA performance, only to find out that he wrote her a note saying that he loved her, that he was so happy that she came by, and that we found her mom, who we couldn't find before after she got taken away from her mom. And we found out where her mom is, and her mom is living this beautiful life out in somebody's big ass vineyard with a house. And that's how the movie ends. You guys are wrong. Glitter was happy-go-lucky. It was colorful. It was fun. Does Mariah Carey look older than everybody else? Does she look like, you know, it looks like she's more in like 97 as opposed to 87? Sure. Is the acting high, mediocre at best? Yes. Correct. There's plenty of times where there's a few directional things that it's just like, maybe we shouldn't have had her do that. Maybe we should have given her another direction. The styling needed, left quite a bit to be, left quite a bit to be desired. But they tried. Okay, they kept it consistent throughout the movie. Mariah Carey had this like random silver mark anywhere on her body. If it wasn't her face, maybe it's her shoulder. By the end of the movie, it's on her back, and it's like in this beautiful sequence, like nude dress, and they just put this random silver color on her body. It's fascinating. It just doesn't seem like every other 80s thing that I've done. But it just seems so like, come on, guys, let's play 80s, but then not necessarily put all the 80s things in it. It's happened before. There's one outfit in particular where Mariah Carey comes back and she's apologizing to her friends because her boyfriend was awful. Well, this is before he got really awful. Her boyfriend had said that they had to leave the video shoot, because the label was like, we don't like the dancers, we don't like her friends, let's get rid of them, let's get new ones. So she goes to apologize to them, and then she takes them on a shopping spree. And they come back in these gold, and I'm not talking like the good gold lame, because that had a thing, right? So you can get like a bustier, you can get one of those like cocktail dresses with the black tulle that like Madonna used to wear. They came back in a gold lame like tube top with a gold lame pant, belt, boot, and cowboy hat all together. And it was strange. It's very strange. It's the one part. It's the one of the few parts of the movie that I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. And they kind of have this like Sex in the City moment where they're like walking down the sidewalk and back, like, we're great. Look at us. We're rich, and we can go outside and buy gold plastic and put it on our bodies. It's very confusing, but it's still great. I love the fact that, it had a beginning, a middle, an end. There's a reason why we were all here. He was toxic and successful and jealous. Jealous of the fact that people wanted to work with her. Jealous of the fact that people, thought she was pretty and that they wanted to work. At one point, he was like, you think he'd want to work with you if you weren't dressed like a slut? Another reason I'd punch somebody in the face. Shut up. This is my body. I dress how I want. I also am realizing when I watch this movie that maybe your girl just loves camp. Another episode that's going to be its own show is Mommy Dearest. And it's not supposed to be funny because that is a movie about child abuse. And child abuse in no way, shape, or form is funny. There's nothing funny or giggly or cute or anything about that at all. I don't condone it. I think it's ugly. I think it's terribly disturbing. And I also love children entirely too much for anything like that to be something cool. But I must say, I don't know if it's the way it's acted. I don't know if it's the way it's written. I don't know what it is about Mommy Dearest, but it cracks me up. It makes me laugh so hard. And then my mom said to me the other day, like, people don't realize that this is an exaggeration of a movie. All this time I thought it was a real biography. But again, that's another story for another day. But I love that movie. I love Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Another time, very important time in our lives. I love the movie camp, where musical theater kids go to camp and sing all their songs that they like. That another conversation for another day. So I enjoy a movie that's silly, that's a little bit overdone, that's just this shy of tacky, but still fun. And this one wasn't that bad because the movie connected. There was a point. We all knew what the point was. And so I'm just curious if it was the fact that people didn't like that it was Mariah. Is it the fact that she looked older than her friends? Is it the fact that, they didn't quite get the hair, makeup, and outfits correct? Because that's another thing. Mariah's hair looked stunning throughout, but I just didn't get 80s. I got 90s from it. If they had given her 90s curl and teased that bad boy to the top, if we had put on some other neon makeup and maybe some of that same silver slash stuff that they put on random parts of her body, if we got some in the eye, that might have been fun. But I am at a standstill. I'm really perplexed as to why everyone was just, screaming that the movie was abhorrent. And I disagree. Also, the soundtrack, which is how we got here in the first place, the soundtrack goes. We're talking about a Candy sample. We're talking about a Sherelle Didn't Mean to Turn You On sample. It's just endless amounts, countless amounts of 80s R&B, which is what we're all grown up on. I played it back the other day because I hadn't heard it in so long. It's so good. And then the ballads are also as good. Mariah Carey is almost like queen. I would venture to say that Mariah Carey is queen of the ballads. She can write you a ballad now. And it was just, she has 2 or 3 ballads on there and they're all really good. Really, really good. So I'm just confused because I also get confused because part of the reason why I think I myself am so into music and I'm so into artists and stuff is because when I listen to them and when I listen to them speak, and now that we have social media, I get into what is it that they're into, and I kind of get a sense of who they are, which is a bit intrusive, but also, it's part of how I listen and how I engage with music. What is it that y'all expected from Mariah Carey? You didn't think it was going to be fun. You didn't think it was going to be kind of youthful. I love Mariah to death, but she has this obsession with butterflies, and I think she has a couple tattooed. That's fabulous, but that's kind of who she is. She even said that when she was married to that Nick Cannon, she was like, I love him because of the fact that we get along, and it's like we're both eternally 12 years old. There's a lot to unpack with that, but she kind of has this youthfulness about her that is fun and sometimes a little bit shy and sometimes a little bit just a tidbit quirky, but it works for her. And I just don't understand I feel like sometimes the expectations of what people want things to be are so high, and it's kind of like, hey, take it back a notch. If you haven't already, I strongly suggest during these time of downtime, if you got nothing else to watch, I absolutely would dive into Glitter again and just give it a second chance. Give it a second look. It deserves. It absolutely deserves. There's a point, listen, I don't want to ruin it for you, but there's lots of little cute things in the beginning where, for example, the mom gets up, she sings her little ditty, she does a little hiccup, takes a little back step, and someone in the audience says, "Oh, Drunk again. That's funny. It makes me laugh. When I got on stage. Oops. It reminds me of my favorite from The Color Purple. Time to go. You know, I think if everyone could just relax and calm their tits about their expectations of what movies should and shouldn't be and find the fun in it, I think you'd find that Glitter was a good time. A very good time. Does it have a lot? Are there a lot of holes? Not a lot of holes, but do some things need to be fixed? Yes, absolutely. We could have had some other directional choices. We could have had some, hey, maybe say this line like this. We could have had a lot of different things. Could we have had maybe I also think that, no shade to the actor that was actually in it, but I also think if she had a love interest that people knew, it might have been a little bit different. But I just think, and I also think that the timing. So let's see. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Glitter came out. When was it? When did Glitter come out? So Glitter came out around, I feel like it was like 99 or 2000, but Google's going to tell me. It just came out at a time where I feel like people were not particularly excited about what was happening with Mariah. Like, she had like, she was kind of, this is after Breakdown, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just kind of felt like she was trying to pander to a younger crowd. But again, she's youthful, and on top of her being youthful, she is, keeping up with the kids, okay? She taught the kids, and then she can keep up with the kids. That's what it's about. Keeping up. And she did that. Come on, y'all. Y'all have watched some movies that are terrible and will wave them in my face and act like I'm wrong. Y'all can absolutely give Glitter another chance. That's all I have to say about that. And we'll be right back. This episode of Nobody Asked Me But is brought to you by So Music Entertainment. If you're looking for a professional recording studio to record your music projects, podcasts, voiceovers, or whatever your audio needs are, for a reasonable price, look no further. Visit somusicent.com. That's SOHMUSICENT.com for more details. You can also follow them at somusicent, which is SOHMUSICENT on Twitter and Instagram for a free consultation. And a special shout out to Mr. Ash, the engineer who mixed and edited our podcast today. And you can follow him at Mr. Ash X, which is MRASHX. They have some of the best engineers here at Soul Recording Studios, so don't wait any longer to make your dream project a reality. Visit somusicent.com or call 929-900-6044 now. And let's get back to our show. All right. And we are back, and now it's time for our Jet Beauty of the Week.
Boom, dynamite! Boom, boom, dynamite! Our team is boom, dynamite! Boom, boom, dynamite! Our team is tick, 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 tick. Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some booty in it. Boom!
Okay, so this goes out to all of my designers, my Black girl designers, my Black girl brands. So I want to first mention last week I did tributaries, which I'll be doing every week. So look out for it again this week on Thursday. It'll be on IG Live. I was trying to get it on Mixcloud, and Mixcloud was doing a lot of weird stuff, and I realized Mixcloud isn't doing a lot of weird stuff. I need 2 computers. So I'm working on it. If you went there and nothing was happening, my apologies, but we're going to get it right. I appreciate everyone's patience. Just a young mogul figuring it out, pulling all the puzzle pieces together. You know how the story goes. So anyway, during this week's tributary stream, I had on these really cute earrings. They're like half hoops. and they're kind of clear, but they have this really pretty like pink, red, yellow, and orange iridescent, almost like dye in between. And so there's a girl I know that makes them, and she makes a whole bunch of other earrings and jewelry, and it's really, really fantastic. And she's based out of Brooklyn, and her name is JOAN De. Oh, let me make sure it's right. I know her first name. I believe it's JOAN DeJESUS, but let me make sure. My internet is acting like a real see you next Tuesday. It's annoying. But Joan owns and runs Babe Comments, and she is a jewelry maker. So definitely check her out on Instagram. I'll leave her information and her at name in the description. Babe. Yes, Babe Comments. Fabulous. And yeah, handmade pom-pom jewelry and more. It's really super cute, really chic, colorful, just in time for a quarantine summer. We don't have no place to go, but that don't mean you can't put these earrings on and put them in a picture, put them in a story. They are just bold and fun. It's fun to look at. I love a statement earring every now and again. I love some color, and Joan really gets it. So by all means, hit her up. Joan De. I'm not going to fuck your name up. I refuse to fuck your name up because I love you too much. JOAN DeJESUS. That's her name. JOAN DeJESUS. You are a Jet Beauty of the Week, Babe Comments. Woo, 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 woo. Congratulations. Also, one of the women who was modeling her earrings is another good friend of mine who recently got married and is just gorgeous. She's also a great singer. And she was wearing said earrings, and she's also been killing it on TikTok, which TikTok and all of our Black creatives and singers, you guys have been putting out all the great songs for us to make cute dances to. So we do get back into it. Everyone's doing the same dance. I can't wait for the day. I love a little choreography, a little group choreography. But this goes out to KATRINA DeBELLO, who has been, I hope I'm not, did I? Hold on. Hold 1 second. Let me make sure I got it right. Yeah, there I go. Messing shit up again. KATRINA DeBELLO, excuse me, not DeBello. KATRINA DeBELLO is a singer, also based out of Brooklyn, and she is just an incredible spirit, and she was rocking the fuck out with these Babe Comment earrings with the red lip, and she's been killing it. She also has her own series that, of course, it started to happen a little bit in the beginning of it's happened for a couple of years, but they're called the 565 sessions, and I believe they started in her house, and now they have kind of grown a little bit, so now they're an outside event, and it's where artists get to come and they get to sing some of their songs, and it's a really great initiative and movement, and also an event. And I just want to give them a shout out. They're doing great. So shout out to JOAN DeJESUS and KATRINA DeBELLO. Woo, 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 woo. And last but not least, BANNA GIRMAY has started her clothing line. Thank you for coming. No, that's not it. I'm fucking it up. I'm fucking this whole thing up. So I have to remember from 30, I'm going to tell Kevon to cut all this shit out because I don't want to fuck up anything else anymore. So I'm just going to go back. We're going to start from the top. Okay, so welcome back to our Jet Beauty segment. Jet Beauty of the Week segment. Okay. All right. So first up on our Jet Beauty of the Week this week is JOAN DeJESUS. She is the creator and founder of Babe Comments, and she owns a handmade jewelry and puff earring line. Sorry. And her earrings are incredible. I wore a pair of her earrings on my last IG live set during Tributaries last week. Really cute half earrings with like this really cute pink, yellow, orange, red dye. Just really, really, really nice. And she's absolutely bomb. She's based out of Brooklyn, and I believe she is still taking orders and such. So if you are interested in some new jewelry, please follow at Babe Comments. That's BABECOMETS. And JOAN DeJESUS is the creator of that. So JOAN DeJESUS, Babe Comments, you guys are our Jet Beauties of the Week. Also, another friend of mine who's also friends with Joan is KATRINA DeBELLO, who is a singer and songwriter, also based out of Brooklyn. And she started the 565 sessions, and it was a really cute event where local artists get to come, musicians and painters and poets and rappers and singers get to come and just kind of share their art and share their crafts with people. And really cute idea having the space. I believe it started in her house and then it grew to a point where, it was an event. And so I'm not sure when it's coming back, but hopefully it's coming back soon. But whenever you guys have a chance, definitely head on over to her handle as well. And I'll leave 565 sessions and Babe Comments in the description so you guys can go see it and check it out. But definitely go give them a follow and show them some love. So KATRINA, KATRINA is also killing it in the game. She has she's modeling one of Joan's earrings in her most recent photos, and it's just stunning. It's just stunning. So definitely needs Jet Beauty of the Week. We're so proud of them. And last but not least, also in that same friend group, GIRMAY has started her own clothing line called BANNA, and it's t-shirts, it's clothing, super cute, super chic. She's giving us lots of influence from Eritrea, where she's from, and it's just really an amazing piece of things. She has the tie-dye sweatshirts that there's like a brown-green combination as well as like a blue and white combination. Those are really cute. She was also recently featured in Bazaar magazine, so we love that. That's so exciting. And she was also one of the first people to allow me to come DJ at one of her events. And because of her, I got some other people to ask me to come to their DJ events. So really exciting stuff. So I just want to give it up to Joan, to KATRINA, and to BANNA. All of you girls and all of your initiatives and your companies are your Jet Beauties of the Week. And so now that we've done all of that great shining of the light on some beautiful, awesome Black women, it's now time for somebody to mind their business.
Mind your business. Mind your business. Close friends. Mind your business.
Okay, so it is week 1028 and of darkness, and still people are unclear of the concept about minding their own business. So earlier this week, Lana Del Rey decided she was going to get on Beyonce's internet. That's right. The internet belongs to Beyonce. And she proved that to you this week as well. She gets on Beyonce's internet not once, not twice, but I think a total of 3 times to tell us about the fact that she feels as if she wants to be able to go back to sing the records that she was singing because there is not enough space for the soft, delicate voice in feminism. In her rant, she mentions mostly Black women, including, but not limited to, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Kalani. She mentions all these people. She does mention Ariana Grande. She does mention Camila Cabello. She mentions all these girls about how, you know, they're strong. Essentially, they're strong. Take no prisoners. I don't want to wear any clothes. Her words, not mine. I do what I want. Narrative is not fair, and then she should be able to sing what she wants to sing about and go back to making the music that she feels like is good, because there's not enough people speaking up for the soft and delicate people in the business. Here's the problem I have with that. First of all, Black women in particular will have and have always had the most backlash when it comes to lyrics, when it comes to body image, when it comes to persona. We are in the middle of a revolution for women of all colors and of all races, where we are all able to say and do what we want to do. And feminism isn't locked down to having to be a strong and assertive type. It is also for the women that decide on their own that they can be soft and delicate. But by you saying that, you're totally not even acknowledging the countless amounts of quote unquote soft, fragile, delicate personalities that are within the Black community that are also killing it. Q, Summer Walker, SZA, maybe sometimes Ari Lennox. There's plenty. But for whatever reason, you feel like you're being left out of a conversation that really doesn't really have anything to do with you. And then on top of that, you mention specifically Black artists and then try to backpedal and say, well, these are my favorite people. But sure, they can be your favorite people, but you have to recognize that A, no one's stopping you from making the music that you want to make. B, none of those women owe you anything. So for you to even say anything or to bring them up and to compare yourself to the likes of Beyonce and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and Kalani, I like you, Lana. I have that first album. That is about it. But you are not in the same caliber of those women to begin with. So for you to think that this is a good idea, I'm just confused. I want people to reconsider hiring publicists. I know some publicists that are incredible and that would love to be a part of, some stuff, but this isn't it. And what bothers me the most is that people were saying that, oh, well, it wasn't really stemmed from race. Here's the problem. It stemmed from privilege and entitlement, and that kind of privilege and entitlement with no kind of real fact about it. And then the fact that we call you out to say, hey, this is a bit privileged and this is a bit entitled. And then you stick your feet even further into being loud and wrong to say that we are the problem. And, oh, thanks for calling me Karen. So helpful. Why are we being helpful? What are we even talking about helpful? How do you want us to help you? Do you want our beloveds to now dim their light so that you can shine? I'm confused. And honestly, you know what you could have done? Mind your business. Mind your fucking business. This ain't got shit to do with you, boo. This ain't got shit to do with you. There are billions of women across the world that are interested in whisper singing about who knows what the fuck. And you're over here talking about how, oh, well, everyone keeps talking about how, like, I glorify abuse. I mean, you literally have a lyric in your song that says, my old man is a tough man. He loves me with his cocaine heart. And he literally is a terrible person. So, I mean, what do you want us to do with this information? Nothing, because you should have minded your business. Next on my list. Goodness. So, there was a man by the name of Christian Cooper who was walking in Central Park and was bird watching. You see how much I get out. Bird riding, Elsie, who was bird watching. And he was bird watching in the park, and there was a white woman also in the park with her mask on, walking her dog, and the sign clearly says, hey, you have to leash your dog, and her dog does not have a leash. He proceeds to ask her to put the leash on said dog. She gets scared and verklempt, calls the police, and says, before calls the police, says to him, I'm going to call the police and tell them that you're threatening my life. Calls the police and is screaming and crying and literally acting like this person is assaulting her, harassing her, and she's afraid for her life. And then, of course, put out this lackluster statement. I didn't mean any harm. I think I was just scared, and I also don't mean any harm to the African American community. False. You lose. Good day, sir. She has now, of course, lost her job. And I am reading something very interesting on the internet, and someone needs to dial in and let me know if I am hallucinating. But it says here, from the couple of places that I've read, that she has been banned from Central Park. I never heard of such a thing. Banned from Central Park. Banned. Ooh, boy. That's ugly. That is sticky. Banned from Central Park. I mean, it's delicious on Monday, but woo, child. But you know what you could have done to avoid that? Mind your business. That's all. Mind your business. Put on your shit. You know you're wrong in the first place. If you wasn't going to do that, you could have just ignored him and kept it pushing. Mind your business. Your business is the dog. Hook up your thing to the dog. Hook up your leash to the dog and go on about your life. Do you have any idea how much danger we're in? Have you not been paying attention? Black people are hunted by the police. It is almost at this point. It's not almost. It's for sport at this point. For mantle. We're talking literally 1,000 years of white women calling the cops, calling the KKK, calling their other white correspondents to come and save them from some nigger. And I had to use the ER there for dramatic effect, but also this is the kind of thing that happens. All because someone asked you to put their leash on when you were wrong in the first place, baby girl. And then you want to say you don't mean any harm you don't mean any harm to African Americans. Y'all, I make jokes about it because that's what we have to do when every day gets darker and darker and darker. But there's so much happening. That concept in itself is in so many movies. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere, and it's literally the stuff that has rooted racism. Rosewood, it happened in that. It happened in The Color Purple. It happened in real life with Emmett Till. There's so many instances of innocent people dying because you are afraid. So yes, I'm absolutely going to rise above and dance like they did at the end of The Wiz because you lost your job. And because they about to ban you from Central Park. Absolutely. I'm going to ease on down this road because you should have minded your business. And last but not least, as we've read in the last couple of days, it has been discovered that Future is indeed Eliza Reign's baby father. And despite his rants and despite how nasty he's been and all the things that that woman has gone through, alas, we have found out that, you know, you like children and you have a lot of them. But if you just took 5 minutes and literally, like, you know, tended to your business, minded it and tended it, right? And did it off the internet and just handled it properly like an adult and not try to make excuses and go around it. If you had just done that, it would have been a lot less intense. And I'm just saying that as a speculator, but it is so very important for you to pay attention to the things that are happening in your life because they can get out of hand. So in this case, mind your business is a literal case. Like, hey, you're having sex with somebody. Maybe let's wrap it up. Maybe if we don't want any more kids, maybe let's have a vasectomy. Maybe, you know, if you think that it isn't and someone else says it is, maybe just take the test and let's get done. We didn't have to draw this out. We didn't have to go this far. It didn't have to get this ugly. You didn't have to get on Twitter and bring us into it. You could have just literally tended to, minded your own, figured it out, worked on it. That's part of minding your business. Part of minding your business is actually physically doing it, not just the thought behind it. It's literally like doing it. So, I mean, it's no shade on my end. I just am saying, above all, it's the first and last thing we want to start with. After we pray and kiss our mamas, mind your business. And we'll be right back.
This episode of Nobody Asked Me But is brought to you by So Music Entertainment. If you're looking for a professional recording studio to record your music projects, podcasts, voiceovers, or whatever your audio needs are, for a reasonable price, look no further. Visit somusicent.com. That's SOHMUSICENT.com for more details. You can also follow them at SoMusicEnt, which is SOHMUSICENT on Twitter and Instagram for a free consultation. And a special shout out to Mr. Ash, the engineer who mixed and edited our podcast today. And you can follow him at Mr. Ash X, which is MRASHX. They have some of the best engineers here at Soul Recording Studios, so don't wait any longer to make your dream project a reality. Visit somusicent.com or call 929-900-6044 now. And let's get back to our show.
And we're back. So while we're talking about movies that are awesome, this week for Black Nostalgia, I stumbled upon another fantastic movie that takes place, that literally is shot and filmed at this particular time and takes place, I think, around in the 70s. And also has the same, shares the same character. There's a character in this movie that I'm going to mention that's also in Glitter. So that's a fun fact. But the movie that I am talking about is the wonderful love story of Sparkle. Now, Sparkle was a good time. It starred Irene Cara, who was, you guys know her from Fame, but she's also the woman that, sang the Golden Girls theme song. And so she's like super famous, super pretty. And the story pretty much takes place. It's like a Dreamgirls-esque kind of story. It was filmed and takes place in 1976. And it stars the same guy that played Dorian Harewood. So Dorian Harewood was the record label exec in Glitter, but he was also a budding record label exec, but the best friend to Styx, who was played by an eventual Miami Vice's Philip Michael Thomas. And basically, they're in the singing group. Their mom is working really hard, and they are working in the singing group so that they can be stars. They're in Harlem, they're in New York, and it's three sisters. They're an actual group. The lead sister, who was in the middle, is the prettiest one, and she, everyone loves her, and she gets caught up with the wrong dude and caught up with drugs and caught up with other stuff, and so she passes on. Then you have another sister who really just enjoyed being a part of the group, but eventually wants to do other things. It's not necessarily her passion, but she's there because she's along the ride, and at the time it gets them paid. And then there's Sparkle, the star, who is a breakout singer who falls in love with the manager, and they go back and forth, and they have, all these trials and tribulations. And what ends up happening is, of course, they fall in love, and she puts out another single and she sings it with him, and they go on to, in my brain, live happily ever after and put out more singles, and she becomes a star. And as you can see, I have an obsession with musicals, Black musicals in particular. I love stories like Dreamgirls and Sparkle and like Supremes and Jackson 5, American Dream Story. So all that stuff is of great use to me. And so that is our Black nostalgia. And that brings us to the lesson of the week. So we've all been watching Insecure. We've all been getting into, debates and think pieces about who's right, who's wrong. Is it Molly? Is it Issa? Who's whack? Who's not whack? But if you haven't seen this last week's episode, I urge you to go watch it. It was incredible. And very quickly, Andrew and Molly go on vacation, and she says, "Ooh, I brought stuff." And he says, "I brought some stuff too." I'm going to just go ahead and skip to the good stuff that Andrew bought, stuff that I don't know how much of us were prepared for. So he brought a little bead here, a little vibrator there, a little tickling thing that, a little touch me teasy. He really came prepared. And so for everybody out there that is coupled or that's not coupled, but is still having a good time and enjoying life, we want you to be prepared and expand. Go on out there, figure out what each other likes, and get into it. And I'm going to leave that at that.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And that was another episode of Nobody Asked Me But. Y'all are wrong about glitter. You're wrong about it. Thank you so much for listening. As always, please don't forget, Thursday, I will be going on live on IG for Tributaries, my DJ series. It can be found on IG Live and also on Mixcloud. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
I think